It started with a scream, the kind that makes every curtain in the neighborhood move. A scream echoing from my own mailbox. For weeks, I had been losing mail, bills, letters, even my mother's birthday card. And every time I complained, the HOA president, Karen, smiled and said, "Maybe you should keep better track of your things." But that morning, when she opened my mailbox, the trap snapped. She jumped back, shrieking, papers flying everywhere. And for the first time, I saw the face of the thief who'd been stealing from me all along. I didn't set that trap for revenge. I set it for the truth. Because in this neighborhood, truth had been buried under HOA rules. Until it finally bit back. So before we continue, drop your city or country name in the comments. I want to see how far this message of truth travels. And if you believe that no one, not even an HOA, should be above accountability, hit that like button and subscribe. Because this channel stands for stories that speak truth to power. When I first moved into this neighborhood, I thought I'd finally found peace. Clean sidewalks, trimmed lawns, and those picture-perfect mailboxes standing in a row like soldiers. It looked safe, too safe. The HOA welcomed me with fake smiles and a 30-page handbook full of community values. At first, I followed every rule, painted my fence, kept my trash bins hidden, paid my dues on time. I didn't want trouble. I just wanted to belong. But then, the small things started happening. One morning, a bill never arrived. I called the company. They said it had been mailed a week ago. Strange, but I didn't think much of it. Then it happened again, and again. Birthday cards from my mom, tax papers, even a small package from a friend, all gone. At first, I thought maybe someone was targeting the neighborhood. So, I asked around. Turns out, I was the only one losing mail. When I went to the HOA president, Karen, a woman who seemed to run the entire community like her personal kingdom, she brushed me off with a smile that could cut glass. "Are you sure you're not just being forgetful?" she said. And just like that, my concern became my fault. A week later, I caught her standing near my mailbox, clipboard in hand, pretending to inspect something. When I asked what she was doing, she said, "Oh, just ensuring all mailboxes meet HOA standards." But when I checked right after she left, the envelope that had been there earlier was gone. That's when it hit me. The woman who enforced the rules was the one breaking them. Still, I didn't want to accuse her without proof. I wanted justice, not gossip. So I went to the HOA meeting and raised the issue politely, but before I could finish, Karen interrupted me. She laughed, saying, "We don't deal with conspiracy theories here." Everyone chuckled. And that day, something inside me changed. I stopped caring about fitting in. Now, I just wanted the truth. After that HOA meeting, I walked back home feeling smaller than ever. Every laugh echoing behind me felt like a verdict, that I was the crazy neighbor. But deep down, I knew the truth. Someone was taking my mail, and I was going to prove it. That night I ordered a small security camera online. Nothing fancy, just enough to catch whoever was tampering with my box. 2 days later, I mounted it behind a flower pot facing the mailbox. When I checked the footage that evening, I froze. A hand, delicate, with a diamond bracelet, reached into my mailbox and pulled out an envelope. The camera only caught the wrist before the screen went black. The next morning, an official HOA notice was taped to my door. All surveillance equipment facing community property is prohibited. Please remove immediately to avoid a fine. The timing was too perfect. Someone knew exactly what I was doing. I marched straight to Karen's house. She opened the door with her usual cold grin. "Everything all right, neighbor?" she asked, leaning on the frame like she owned the whole street. I showed her the notice. "You sent this?" She smiled. "The board did. We can't have people violating privacy laws." "Privacy?" I said, my voice shaking. "Someone stealing my mail." "Well," she shrugged, "maybe you should trust the system to handle it." That was the moment I realized the system was the thief. For the next few days, I pretended to drop the matter. But inside, I was planning. If the HOA wanted to stop me from recording the truth, I'd make sure the truth caught them. While cleaning my garage one night, I found an old wooden box of tools, and inside it, a small mousetrap. I held it in my hand for a long minute. It wasn't dangerous, just loud enough to make someone jump. That's when the idea hit me. What if I couldn't film the crime, but made the crime reveal itself? I spent the evening preparing. I placed a harmless snap trap inside the mailbox, covered it lightly with junk mail so it wouldn't hurt anyone, only make a sharp crack when triggered. Then, right beneath the box, I placed a tiny motion sensor camera inside my flower bed, this time angled low and hidden behind leaves. HOA rules didn't say anything about cameras on private property. It was a small act of rebellion, but it felt like justice finally breathing. For 2 days, nothing happened. The trap stayed still, the camera silent. I started to doubt myself again. Maybe she'd stopped, maybe I was wrong. Then came Sunday morning. The neighborhood was quiet. I was sipping coffee near the window when I saw her, Karen, walking slowly down the street, clipboard in hand, fake smiling at every mailbox she passed. My heart began to race. When she reached mine, she looked around, then leaned closer. I could almost hear the creak of the lid. And then, snap. She screamed, stumbled backward, letters flying like snow. The sound echoed down the street. Neighbors peeked from behind curtains. For a second, she just stood there, clutching her hand, her face red with shock and fury. Then she spotted the tiny camera light blinking in the bushes. Her expression changed, from anger to fear. She marched toward my door, shouting, "You're finished. You'll hear from the HOA." I didn't answer. I just stood behind the curtain, calm for the first time in weeks. Because I already knew what was on that camera. Karen's yelling continued, echoing down the quiet street, but I stayed calm behind my window. For the first time in weeks, I felt in control. I waited until she stormed off, muttering under her breath about lawsuits and neighbors gone rogue. Then I grabbed my laptop and checked the hidden camera footage. There she was, clearly reaching into my mailbox again, this time slower, more careful. Her hand brushed the trap, and the loud snap startled her completely. She jumped, letters scattering everywhere. Her scream was loud enough for the whole neighborhood to hear. But the real victory? The camera caught every second of it. No guesswork, no he said she said. Just proof. I knew exactly what I had to do next. The HOA office opened Monday morning, and I walked in, confident. I asked to see the board president. A man in a gray suit glanced up at me, clearly impatient. "I have evidence that your board member has been stealing residents' mail," I said, sliding the laptop across the counter. He frowned and clicked play. Karen's face appeared on screen, mid-reach, startled by the trap. The clip played again, slow motion, clear as day. The president's jaw tightened. How did you get this?" he asked. I shrugged. "Private property. Camera on my property. Nothing illegal here." The room went silent. Then a call was made, and Karen was summoned to the office immediately. When she arrived, she was pale and stiff, her clipboard clutched like a shield. "Explain this," the president said, pointing to the screen. She tried to deny it at first. I was checking mail for the community." But the footage told the story the words couldn't hide. The president shook his head. "This is unacceptable. You are being suspended from all HOA duties immediately, and an official complaint has been filed for mail theft and harassment." Karen's lips quivered. For the first time, I saw fear in her eyes. I didn't say a word. I just nodded politely, letting justice do the talking. The next few weeks were quiet. Neighbors who had once avoided me started waving. Some even admitted they had suspected Karen for months but didn't dare confront her. I finally felt safe in my home again. No more stolen mail. No more late-night anxiety about what she might do next. Even the HOA seemed to have learned a lesson. They quietly revised some of their policies, putting more checks in place to prevent board members from acting outside the rules. I didn't need revenge anymore. The universe had handled it for me, and I had the proof to show it. Looking back, the snap trap wasn't about hurting anyone. It was about balance. About making someone experience the surprise and fear they had inflicted on others. The lesson was clear. Sometimes, the system fails. Sometimes, people in power abuse their authority. But if you stand firm, stay smart, and trust in your own ability to act, justice finds a way. Months later, Karen moved away. Rumor has it she got another HOA position, but this time, the story had followed her. I smiled quietly to myself. Some lessons can't be unlearned. As for me, I finally opened my mailbox without fear. Each letter was a reminder that taking a stand matters. That ordinary people can hold power accountable. That sometimes, the smallest action, a little cleverness, a little courage, can topple someone who thinks they're untouchable. And whenever I tell the story to new neighbors, I don't say it with anger. I tell it with pride. Because this isn't just a story about a stolen piece of mail. It's about reclaiming your space, your peace, and your dignity. And proving that in the end, truth always wins over power.